Hey, fellow crafters. I wanted to bring this video to you guys because if you're watching it, I'm quite sure you have the same questions, or you're over on a Facebook group about to ask this question about this same press. This is the 15 by 15 Amazon or eBay press. It's like one of those 8-in-1, 5-in-1, 12-in-1s. And I'm going to give you a few of the cons and pros that I have about this heat press. Also, some of the things that I've seen that others have had a problem with it as they've had it over the last couple of years. So, one thing about this heat press is it's a good size to start out. Everybody tells you, hey, don't go with the 12 inches. Try out 15 by 15. That's where you want to be at, especially if you're doing like t-shirts. I agree with that, but you quickly outgrow this t-shirt, especially if you move to something like sublimation. You quickly outgrow this press. I'm going to keep this going. I'm not even going to edit it. Keep it raw. But you quickly outgrow this press. But the good thing about it is it gives you a lot of room. It is a swing away. But the problem is you have to have the room behind it to be able to get that top platen to go all the way around. Now, since this is an 8-in-1, which is what mine came as, this bottom tray can act like a pull-out feature for you to get your t-shirt on and be able to move it back and forth. One thing you may notice is that my rubber piece here is gray and not orange. Well, that's because the orange one that I had that came with it, probably about 5 or 6 presses in, it actually melted right here in the middle. It wasn't hot. It was the temperature on the press was exactly where it was supposed to be, but that little rubber mat, it didn't withstand it. So I went ahead and got a better one from Amazon, and these are the ones that come with better presses anyway. So I would highly recommend going in and getting you one of these just off the rip. And all it is just the lower mat for a 15 by 15 heat press. I bought it off of Amazon, maybe 30 bucks. If I could find it, I'll probably put the link down in the bottom description. But one thing I do know about this press, as far as let's see, the cons on it. Well, you see these are your handles. So when it's on, you don't burn yourself. It gives you somewhere to grab. Problem is, they come loose over time. They're also underneath the platen. Now, there may be a way to get under there to tighten them, but I don't know that way without actually taking this apart. I didn't want to go through that. Now, I've tried to tighten it from the top. Sometimes they'll catch with the little nuts just underneath them. Most of the time, they won't. So I've pretty much just given up on that. So I use them. They haven't come off or anything, but they're extremely loose. Another thing is I don't leave it in the up position when I'm not using it. I usually leave it just touching the bottom plate. I don't push it all the way down to put pressure on it, because I've also seen on the forums where people were pressing shirts and the press just breaks right here. It's a stress crack and it just breaks. So I don't leave it in that position at all. Another thing that's a con about this press that I've heard a lot, I haven't actually gone through it, but they say that this box, the brains behind it, sometimes it'll blow a fuse, but on the most major part is the power switch. I've seen where you turn the power switch and it'll just turn back. So those are actually easy fixes. It's just a fuse or the switch is bad. But I've also heard on the most extreme circumstances that when you leave this guy plugged up, even though it's in the off position, you have electricity still coming through your power cord going to your box, and that can cause a fire. I've heard in some extreme circumstances that has happened with this press. And for that reason, I decided to go with an external outlet. So what it is it's a plug for like your Christmas lights, basically. And what it is, you plug it into the outlet, and then you plug the press into the junction box, and it comes with the remote control. So before I can cut this press on, I actually have to turn the outlet on with this remote. So I press on, and then I can turn my press on. Turn it off, and I remember to hit my remote. I keep it all hanging here, and now I get no power There's no power coming through the power line, not even into the brain box here. So that's an important thing to, that might be something that you might want to add on to this. Let's see, what else about this press? Again, I mentioned the swing around feature. I had to come around to the other side of the press. I added this little lanyard just to keep the cord up, because if not, it likes to go underneath. Every time it used to always find itself underneath the platen. Now the platen's hot. It's 305 degrees most of the time, because I mostly do vinyl on this press. So I'm usually at 305, 310 degrees. I don't really do sublimation on here. I have another press that I use. But this was my first heat press, and it served me well. Like I said, these are the issues that I see about it, and these are the issues that a lot of people talk about. Another thing is when I do put pressure down, I don't know if you can see, but see here, you get a lot of pressure in the back, but it doesn't look like it's a lot of pressure in the front. Now, I haven't had an issue with it not pressing vinyl. It does work, but it does seem to have uneven pressure. So this doesn't go down totally flat from front to back. It actually looks like it gives more pressure in the back than it does in the front. So that could be another issue. Again, like I say, I see it, I notice it, but when I do vinyl, it's not really an issue as far as my product. Okay, so let's get to some of the attachments. All right, so this guy, if you bought it, you probably looked at it and you said, okay, well, this is the one I'm going to get because it comes with so much other stuff. Don't let the stuff fool you. All right, most of it you're not even going to use. Once you get into this and you figure out what it is that you want to do, it's going to be an easier way to do it. This is a mug press that comes with the heat press, and I would say this is probably the only attachment that I have used. Problem is, I used it with mugs, which I do. I do sell mugs with my business, and I did try this, but I cannot get even pressure. So I used to have a mug that I would use as a tester mug. It had all kinds of sublimated stuff already on it, but I could never get even pressure with it. And I thought it was going to be good because even with this attachment, you actually wouldn't even have to take the top platen off. So that was cool. You just unscrew it, screw this one in. It can only go one way. It has a little notch on the side of the connector, and plug it in that way. So let's see, what else do we have? We have along with the cup press, I'll get into the shot here, sorry. This cup press comes with different sizes. So there's one for an 11 ounce, there's one for a 15 ounce mug, coffee mug, and then if you have the conical shaped ones, you have two attachments for the little, call them conical or cone shape. So if they're tapered, you have two attachments for tapered type mugs. I've never used the tapered type mugs. If you're looking at one of these, it's gonna probably tell you it has plate presses. Never used the plate presses. There wasn't even anything I was interested in. So I can't tell you how these work, but I do know the mug press is not that great. It works, it does heat up, but it doesn't give you even pressure. I'm sure if you keep messing with the little adjustment knob, you may be able to get it here and there, but what works better is just a good old-fashioned toaster oven. As long as it's a convection oven, it works so much better. And that's what I actually went with. The last attachment that came with this press is the hat attachment. I'm not going to take this all apart, but the way the hat attachment, as I have it upside down, the way the hat attachment works is you take your top platen off. You have screws here and here. They're like through holes here. You take those two screws off. The top platen comes off. You have a screw here and here. The top head attachment goes on. You connect it. Once you get that done, again, like I said, this doesn't just slide out. This whole tray actually comes off. And once it comes off, you take the bottom part of your head attachment, and there's a track for it right here in the center. Let's see if I can. I think it's a little thing, but there's an attachment right here in the center where it slides in. Yeah, it's pretty easy, pretty straightforward. But I've never used the head attachment. I have 4.5 feet of dreadlocks, so I haven't worn a hat in a very, very long time. Like over 25 years. So I have no idea what the hat fashion is about right now. So, let's see, what else can we talk about with this press? It gets the job done. If it's what you can afford, know that these go for around what, $250 to $300, maybe $400 on eBay and Amazon. It's a good size. I agree with the 15 by 15. But if you can hold out and step up and possibly find one in stock nowadays, because everything is a little hard to find, I would definitely hold out for a 16, at least a 16 by 20 or a 16 by 24. The difference between the two is the 16 by 20 is longer lengthwise. The 16 by 24 is longer widthwise. See what I'm saying? So those are better options, especially if you're going to get into sublimation. I would definitely go with those. Now, I wouldn't recommend a 15 by 15 clamshell, even though I never had one. But unless it has a pull-out drawer, because at this size, if this was to open as a clam style, you're gonna not have a lot of room back there to get your hand. Actually, I don't suggest getting any clam style press without it being a pull-out drawer. And let me show you what I'm talking about. It's just a little preview. Turn you to my current press. This is a 16 by 20 Heat Press Nation. Now, this one has a pull-out drawer. That gives you so much room versus being in here and only having this much room to try to get your t-shirt in or whatever you're pressing. It gives you so much room. So I would at least, at the bare minimum, invest in a press with a pull-out. If you go with a swing away, remember, you have to have the room to have it swing away. It has to have double the clearance. So just as much clearance you have in the front, you have to have just that much in the back as well for this to be an effective press. If not, you're gonna be able to go this way and you're not gonna be able to get anything here if you're not gonna be able to swing this out. So, I mean, this is a table that I built. I have it as far forward as I can get it, and it gave me just enough clearance to be able to swing this press all the way to the back. Before I built this table, I had it on a little fold-up table with some wood clamps. It was not pretty, but it worked for a while. But I immediately, as soon as I had a chance, I got some wood and I put this guy here together. And it's been up here ever since. It works well, very sturdy. Just a quick, simple, like I said, if you're into mugs, I wouldn't even worry about the attachments. Get you a nice little convection toaster oven. It has to be a convection. And the reason you know convection, it will have a little fan on one side. It has to be convection. And you get you a timer and you're set to go, because you don't want to trust the timer to come with it. You want to get you a nice little timer that you can, a thermometer that you can just sit on the inside, and it gives you a really true accurate read. They're like $5 on Amazon. It's not a big deal. Sorry about that. The toaster oven, I think I got it at Ollie's for refurbished for like $50. It wasn't nothing too major. So again, like I say, 15 by 15 swing away, it's not a bad guy to start with. If that's all you can get, that's all you can find, just know that you're going to still be looking for a better option. And that better option will probably be a 16 by 20 or bigger. It's always going to go bigger. I don't think anybody gets into this game and say, you know what, this is just a little bit too much press for me, let me go smaller. I've never heard that. I'm not saying it hadn't happened, but I've never heard it. So you're going to always want to go bigger. And 16 by 20 is a good way to go. But like I said, just know that if you do go this route, it's going to have limitations. It's going to have some issues. It does have some power problems that people have run into as far as fuses, power switches, or just straight up this actual module going bad. And worst case scenario, catching on fire. They do sell these modules. I have seen them for about 60, maybe 70 bucks on both eBay and Amazon at times. And it's just a direct replacement. But that lets you know that there are some issues. If they're selling it as a direct replacement, that lets you know there's some issues. And these guys don't come with the best warranties. And even if they do, and you end up buying one from, like, say, China, you're gonna have to ship it to China, wait for them to get around to it, and then ship it back to you. It's just bigger hassle than it should be. So, like I say, these are the things to worry about here. And like I say, I wouldn't keep it in this down position because I have seen stress get on this frame right here and it breaks. And it looks like this bar here kind of leans back. So I would just definitely leave it in this position. I wouldn't leave it up because, well, my son likes to come down here and lean on stuff. So I wouldn't leave it up, but I at least leave it in this position, just so it's just sitting there. But I think that's pretty much it. I think that's what I wanted to talk to you guys about with this 15 by 15 8-in-1 Amazon eBay heat press. That's what I'm going to name this video. I thank you for staying with me this long. I'm going to have some other content, and I'm starting this YouTube up, and I want to see how it goes. Give some more content out here just to see what we can all figure out together in this sublimation, crafting, creativity world that we're all a part of now. So stay with me, subscribe, like my channel, and hit the notification bell. And I'll get back with you with the next video. Appreciate it, guys. Have a good one. Bless.